Oh my God!
And we're back.
We are back.
Welcome
Look
to
at
the
that.
D-pad.
It was magical. I'm Rick.
I'm John.
And I'm Peter.
I'm going to talk like this for the rest of the episode.
Oh, I believe it. I believe you.
He's got a
now
voice
I,
for radio.
now I have to.
Now you have to. Yeah.
I've created an unfortunate situation for myself.
Oh boy.
It's also harder to talk this way when you're smiling or laughing.
I'd be a little surprised that I'm more willing to believe that they will do a Pokemon Legends Celebi than a Pokemon Let's Go Johto at this point.
Sure.
It seems like Pokemon Go is like riding relatively high, but is starting to enter that final cycle. Like it seems like they're starting to get ready to wind things down.
Definitely had some friends get back into Go somewhat recently.
Yeah.
I can't.
Does the main mechanic still totally blow?
There's too many main mechanics now.
There's way too many things
But
going
at the end of the day, like, you go to a place and you have a battle and you just swipe, and it's just chaos and it's not fun.
Yes.
Is that still true?
It's a lot of that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, they didn't add a
I've said it
particularly
before,
novel mechanic to the game.
I've said it before on the D-pad, I'll say it again. Like, Pokemon Go just to me is still such a missed opportunity. It obviously was successful, and we were talking about the foibles of capitalism earlier.
Yeah.
So, like, they're not incentivized to change it, but, like, they could have done way more than they did.
I mean, they had a pretty good run of it. People really enjoyed having to explore different biomes to find Pokemon, but then they also started to be annoyed that you had to explore different biomes in the real world to find different Pokemon, so I think they relaxed that to some extent.
Yeah, that part makes sense. But exploring your neighborhood is fun, too.
Yeah.
But that meant, like, going to a park meant you'd find more grass-type Pokemon, and going to the graveyard is where you would find ghost-type Pokemon. Because, you know, things were tagged.
Right.
You know, based on
pretty cute.
GIS data.
Yeah. So long as you don't live in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
And that became kind of its own whole thing. And they started tweaking the game to adjust a little bit so that if you, especially during COVID, they're like, okay, if you live nowhere, then like this game will do nothing for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think.
But it got to the point that they have like a Go festival.
Yeah.
Right. Well, it was fun in the beginning just because the exploration was novel enough that it carried it for a little while.
New experience.
But I feel like the majority of people got sick of that pretty fast.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you couldn't go to a volcano to catch a Charmander.
Yeah.
It got people out and walking in the beginning.
Yep.
But then it got a lot of people driving slowly through neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the fan base in like
Google
year 3 or 4 was very different from the fan base in year 1.
Yes.
And honestly, I would say the fan base right now is different from where it was in the immediate aftermath of some of those changes when they started doing Team Rocket or Team
Rocket.
Is it Team Rocket? Yeah.
The Team Rocket stuff and some of the
towers and stuff like
this
that.
was
tower stuff that they added.
Yeah, I think you can come here later.
Made it really hard to keep up with like sort of a daily load as a casual game.
Yeah.
Like I enjoyed it when there was like a half hour of stuff to do in a day.
Yep.
I would go drive downtown, park, walk around a little bit,
for a bit, do some stuff,
knock out my dailies, and then do something else.
Yeah. I definitely I used to at the time I was working in the city. I was working in Boston in an office. And literally, I was able to go to work. A couple people were talking about Pokemon Go, so I'd sit at my desk and I'd flick a bunch of stuff that was nearby, and I'd be like,
"Yeah, you could reach 5 Pokestops from your office or whatever."
Like, well, I guess
you were in
done
downtown
now. Yeah. Like, all right, that's my day, I guess. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
It very quickly fell off for me as a result of that.
But so much of it, I can forgive all that. They've changed some of that stuff, but the actual fighting and battles and shit is just terrible.
Well, I think I think you actually wanted to go up that.
To go up the side,
wall.
I think you're right. A Faclari.
Oh, man. I think it seems to me, my guess would be that they're going to do, like I was saying, Pokemon Legends Celebi, because Legends Arceus seemed to do quite well.
It was such a good game.
Yeah, it is.
So novel in the Pokemon world.
I would say
in terms of its presentation of how the world feels.
Yeah.
Right?
I like the interactions with Pokemon better in Legends than in Scarlet Violet.
Yeah.
Most of the rest of Scarlet Violet I like better, just in terms of a much wider landscape, being able to freely explore all of it, having more Pokemon spawn in as opposed to, all right, here's the 4 Pokemon that are all kind of in eye shot here.
Well, and the sincere hope is that they can take the lessons from both of those games to produce a spectacular Legends Celebi.
That's the thing, right?
And a Gen 10.
Yeah, Gen 10. So from what I've been able to glean folks are pretty sure. So Pokemon Day is coming up in like a week. At the time you guys are seeing this, it's going to be less than a week. I think it's going to be the Tuesday after this.
Yep.
But like shifting, this couch is so low to the ground. People are more or less in agreement that Gen 10 is not going to get announced this year.
Sure.
Because they just 2 years ago was Gen 9. Last year was the DLC announcents. And it's
They're
like,
probably
okay,
going to save it for the Switch 2 to have a
probably
kick-ass launch.
Well,
title.
so-
we were talking about that a little bit off mic.
I think it was off mic.
Yeah, yesterday.
Like,
Yesterday in recording world.
yeah, they could be saving a Gen because there's never. I went and looked afterwards. Pokemon has never been a launch title for any system, which is surprising. I would have thought that there would be a good chance for it. In fact, actually, I think the Pokemon Company and Game Freak specifically avoid that because at least twice they have actually they have actually put out a game on a console after its successor has come out. Pokemon.
Hyper Sun, Hyper Moon, or whatever the fuck.
No, Pokemon
Ultra.
Emerald, I think. I want to say
Close enough.
Pokemon Emerald was put out after the DS was released. And Pokemon Black and White 2 was like almost a year after the 3DS was released.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going the right way.
I think you were still trying to go up, essentially.
I am. This seems like way,
But
but I must have missed a turn or something.
So this is an up that you've done before.
Yeah. So let's see. I've already killed this guy.
How do you get more up from here?
See, this is what I mean. When I'm trying to explore a dungeon and I keep getting interrupted by battles,
This one's a
I
little
just
windy, too.
fucking forget what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Which is, I get it. Stop being an idiot, John. But also, my
No, this
brain
one
doesn't
gets a
work
little
that way.
confusing. I got a little lost at one point, too.
Uh,
But yeah, no, I think Legends Celebi is likelier than a Let's Go Johto because I think Pokemon Go is starting to fade out a little bit, and also, Pokemon Let's Go is based off of Yellow, not more than Red and Blue.
Right.
I find the likelihood of them doing a Let's Go Crystal essentially a little bit unlikely. I don't know.
Right.
It wouldn't be hard for them to
well,
do.
Pokemon
but
Yellow
also,
had that mascot power. Who would be the mascots
Exactly, yeah.
for Let's Go?
Yeah,
it would have to still be Pikachu and
think-
Eevee, which
I
would be
think
boring and sad.
I used to joke, Let's Go Togepi, Let's Go Meryl,
Yeah, that's
because they're like the closest you could get.
Yeah,
really.
but
best
like-
you could do for like Gen 2 mascot.
That
like,
sounds
yeah.
dead in the
characters.
water already.
Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't have the same punch for sure. But those two were definitely the two most well-known Pokemon going into Gold and Silver. You had
Yeah.
Peekaboo,
Right. The rumored name of
Right.
Meryl being
Yeah.
Peekaboo before
Can't
that
get
game
down
came
and then
out.
Togepi was in the anime for like a whole fucking year before Gold and Silver came out.
Yeah,
Um,
they were pushing that hard on the cartoon side.
yeah. So like, I
Misty's best buddy.
yes.
Not even a water Pokemon. It's bullshit.
But like I think what is likeliest to happen is I'm trying to think. So this game is like almost 3 years old. So a Gen 5 remake would not be out of the question. Especially Gen 5 is like, it's funny, if you go to the Pokemon, like list of Pokemon games Wikipedia page, they have this really intricate graph
Oh, this is not.
going down the generations on one side, and then next to it is the main titles that have been released, and then next to it is third versions and DLCs, and then there's another column for remakes, and there's like lines that connect the originals to the remakes and stuff, and it's like this shelf of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's just Gen 5 onward that's just kind of in a quiet little block.
So
to
I can't
itself.
actually go down here.
No, if you go down that rock climb and then
Yeah.
up the one on the left.
Oh, is that what they want?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe so.
What fun mechanics.
So also, I think there was a point you might actually need to backtrack more, because there was a room where you went like up the stairs, and then immediately. Oh no, actually no, because that was just a tiny room, and then you.
this feels
then you
like
come out of that.
progress.
Yes, I think this is approaching the.
Yeah,
the
you are
spear pillar.
going the right way.
Strength
yeah.
made it possible to move boulders around.
Gen 5 remake would be
Just
the
like
next.
real
Would be
life
the
for
next
me.
thing if they were on a 3-year cycle. Legends. I think Legends Celebi would be like potentially this year or next year on a similar thing. I want to say. I want to say Arceus was 2022. Yeah, 2022 January. So like, honestly, yeah, 3-year cycle would have both of them coming out within like at the end of this year, start of next year. So like, honestly, either of them could be Switch 2 titles.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Game Freak and Pokemon Company being like, let's put it on the console that's got 140 million units sold as opposed to one that's just starting.
Yeah.
Like, I would not be surprised if that was one of the things that Nintendo and the Pokemon Company routinely disagree about. Because Nintendo,
I'm sure Nintendo wants them to be making a launch title for them,
yeah,
or
it would be
something to sell units.
Immediate massive sales boost for having a Pokemon game at launch, versus Pokemon being like, yeah, but we'll sell like a quarter as many copies if we do that, versus putting it on the console that's in 140 million homes. Like,
Yeah.
So I get both sides of that. I wouldn't even hate if they just had... I wish more games did this, and there's only some that do, like... So, assuming... I guess there's only so many opportunities for this. Xbox actually does this a lot, and PlayStation does it a little. Nintendo used to do it too. Put out a game that has, like, benefit... Like, that's playable on one, but is boosted by being on the other. They used to do that with Pokemon Yellow. Was a Game Boy game that also had Game Boy Color support.
Yeah. Yes, it had color capabilities
Red
loaded
and blue
into
also,
it as to what the palette should look like on a color machine. Yeah.
Yep. The new Nintendo 3DS, Majora's Mask 3D, had extra stuff you could do if you played on a new Nintendo 3DS. Like, it let you do manual, like, thumbstick camera controls.
Oh, right. New, the product name.
Yeah, I hate when Nintendo does that shit.
If they call it the new Switch, I'm going to be so pissed.
If they call it the new Switch, it's like, man, you just want this thing to sell nothing, don't you? Because they did it for new Nintendo 3DS, they did it for new Super Mario Brothers, they did it for new Nintendo Snap, new Pokemon Snap.
The new 3DS was sort of upgraded hardware, but not upgraded engine platforming situation at all, right?
Generally, there were a few new exclusive games. Not a ton, but boy, was that a huge mistake.
That's
if they were
super obnoxious. Does that mean that they had a special notch on the cartridges for new?
Yes, I believe so. Because the 3DS already did that.
Right.
Let me actually double check, because I know the 3DS had that. Let me check for the new.
The last trainer I beat said, "Why'd you have to work me over like that?" So I just wanted to point that out, but I didn't want to interrupt you guys for a lame joke, so I just I waited for the lull.
Getting worked over.
Yeah.
You worked him over, you rid him hard, and you put him away wet.
Her, actually.
Oh,
so
her away wet.
No comment. Zap.
That's a perfectly normal phrase in horse world.
The list appears to be small.
Is this not horse world?
No, this is...
These aren't just horses?
Oh, here's a great example.
Not water dragon horse?
The original Xenoblade Chronicles, originally made for the Wii, recently released again on the Switch, but it was also playable on the new Nintendo 3DS.
That's like when networks put TV shows on at really bad times.
It's just such a strange...
It's a Switch title, but you can plug it into your 3DS?
No. There were 3 releases of it. The original Wii, a new Nintendo 3DS, and then a Switch version fairly recently.
Joel Bats.
Don't know why. That's just odd. And literally, the list on here includes old-ass games, too, like Donkey Kong Country, F-Zero, and A Link to the Past are on this list. And it's like...
As being new
Nintendo 3DS. Maybe they were eShop things or something. Maybe they were those, that did that 3D stereoscopic effect that a few of those games had or something. I'm actually going to look real quick.
Good night, Joel Bat.
Yeah, the new Nintendo 3DS had its own virtual console with a handful of exclusive games.
Yeah. Annoying.
That's dumb.
So ridiculous.
Well, they're doing their best.
You know what it is?
Probably hard to run an Empire.
No, you know what it is? Because the regular 3DS, I don't think had a strictly speaking virtual console. They had downloadable games.
Oh.
Right.
And the new one had a virtual console, but it had almost nothing on it.
Well, they've done better about that on more recent machines.
Yes.
On putting actual numbers of games on their virtual consoles.
Yeah.
I personally am really happy they stopped separating handhelds and main console with Switch.
I just wish
I always bought 3DS games and then never played them because it was uncomfortable and not as fun.
Yeah, I do like being able to essentially anything that would now be a Nintendo handheld game can now be played on the TV.
Exactly. That's important for me at least.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 0.
But there are a few games that have features that you can't use unless you're handheld.
Yeah.
Like this
Vose. This one has some. Vose is a game you basically cannot play in docked mode.
Yeah.
It's a rhythm game that is entirely touch-based.
And that's cool. I mean, that good for those games to be able to do that. I mean, I know a ton of people who do use their Switch more portably. I only do it if I'm flying and it's 2019.
Scarlet and Violet also has exactly one feature that requires you to not be in docked mode, which is if you want to evolve your ILCA,
You have to flip your Switch
you have
upside
to
down.
flip your Switch upside down. Which maybe
That's cute.
I may literally try to do during a stream by taking the whole dock and doing it just to keep it captured. But
Oh,
would that
interesting.
work?
I don't know. I do not know.
I wonder if they do a check for is handheld first.
I don't know. We're going to find out.
That would be a definitive way to find out.
Yeah.
And have it on camera while you're doing it.
Oh, I do have a little ether.
That's the thing. I would not be on camera. There's no way that I'd be able to get all
Well,
this shit figured out for it. But
Hypothetically, the Switch would be on.
the Switch would be...
recorded unless you jostle a cable wrong. And
Yeah, yes. That's the thing I got to be careful about is that there's enough slack there so that I can do that.
Let's-a go.
Should we do it next time?
Yeah.
Yeah.